All right, we got a huge treat for you today. Probably one of the most complete 32 gigabyte RecalBox images I've ever seen. I've seen some really popular ones. I have videos of some 32 gigs, and I have to say, this is going to take the cake in the #1 spot for Recall images for me. This is from Emolga, Emulation Gaming Network, and this is their next level 32 gigabyte RecalBox build. Something to note about it is MAME and Final Burn Alpha has already been separated for you. That's kind of a big task on the RecalBox. And as you saw in my previous RecalBox video, RecalBox plays Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast fairly well, and there's some big benefits like user friendliness in the RecalBox. The front end is just very easy to use, and total titles over 17,500 games on this. So let's go ahead and see what we got here, because you're in for a treat. All 324 Nintendo 64 games. Nice to see that, the metadata and everything. No video snaps, but it does have the box art, JPEG, and logos. And this is running great. Again, really nice stuff. Let's see if it's overclocked really quick. None. You can't overclock it very easily though, as you see there. Super Nintendo 981. Seems like a lot. I wonder if this is also including, yep, Super Famicom. Okay, so Super Nintendo is Super Famicom and Super Nintendo 981. Nintendo 64 324. This seems high as well, and I think there's some titles in here, maybe some games that weren't released on in the US market. Not exactly sure. Oh yeah, see, like Dragon Sword 64 is a prototype. It says proto on there. So there's a couple of games on here. Nice to see. Oh, here we go, another one. Frogger 2 is a prototype. Glover 2, prototype. Let's see, now that we're looking at these prototypes. You got Mini Racers. This looks kind of cool, like a Revolt type game. All these games here. Another prototype, ODT. Another prototype, Robotech Crystal Dreams. I may have missed another prototype as well. You got Sydney 2000, another little RC racing game, and Tommy Thunder prototype, Toy Story 2. And Wild Waters, so if you want to do some whitewater kayaking, and then back to Yoshi's Story. Good stuff. We'll try the N64 a little later. Game & Watch 52. I've never used Game & Watch on a RecalBox image, but I'm sure it's very similar to RetroPie. Game Boy 599. So again, this is going to have some prototypes or something, I imagine. Maybe some hack games. Okay, so it's got some 4-in-1 games. Okay. Virtual Boy 25. Again, you usually, yeah, see some prototype games. Bound High. It's like usually you only get about 22 of these games. So Waterworld. Game Boy Color 581. That sounds about right. I don't know if you're gonna have any prototype. Oh yeah. Oh no. Unreleased. Is UNL? Yeah, not sure. Okay. Game Boy Advance, wow, 1045. So this is pretty thorough. Game Boy Advance, Sega SG 1088. Scraped artwork, Sega Master System, 385. Wow, these are some pretty complete, collections. Mega Drive. This is going to be your Sega Genesis. Again, a lot of extra games here. Three Ninjas. And some prototypes in there as well. Baby's Day Out. Beast Ball. Okay. Sega 32X. 37. So again, you usually don't see this many. You usually see about 32. So yep, so they got a prototype in here. Virtual Hamster. And X-Men. Game Gear 282. It's pretty standard. Neo Geo 136, pretty standard. Neo Geo Pocket 9, Neo Geo Pocket Color 81. That's quite a Neo Geo Pocket collection for those of you who like that. Atari 2600, 636, again, a large collection there. 7200, 65, ST, you don't see this very often, 275. That's quite a big collection right there. Atari Lynx, 82, Coleco, 158. Quite a bit here as well. Some prototypes as well. Dig Dug. Odyssey 2, 113. PC Engine, 313. This is no joke. This guy's not playing around. Super Graphics, 5. This is pretty standard. Vectrix, 33. Wonder Swan, 105. Wonder Swan Color, 90. Amstrad, CPC, wow, quite a bit of games here. Now, these systems, you know, the ROMs are so small, so you can really get this packed in there. But as you saw, it has a Nintendo 64 as well, 172 on the Apple II. Commodore 64, 333. I mean, these are pretty good collections. MSX 552. That's a almost complete one right there. Alien 2. Aliens 8. Okay, MSX2 was a total of 149. Quite a bit there. Sinclair ZX81, 24. And then ZX Spectrum. What are these games? Whew, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There's some old school stuff for you. Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Add a little color into it. And then back to favorites, one game. Nintendo World Championships. MAME. Wow. 2,388. That's crazy. That's a crazy lot of arcade games, guys. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. You even have Alien 3, the gun game, Alien vs. Predator, Alien Syndrome, Alien Storm, Alien Sector. Wow. Altered Beast, you get 2 versions here. Okay, so some of these are in French. Oh, I guess one, no, the Altered Beast's in French. So a little bit of that. Nice to see this in English to start. You got Area 51. Area 51, it'll run, but without a gun, it's not worth your time. Unless you can get like an air mouse to work or something else like that. This game looks good. Man, this whole arcade set is intense. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of arcade games you'll never play on here. Batman Forever, you don't see that very often. Batman, the arcade game. Yeah, a lot of these you don't see too often. Battletoads, pretty common. Beasterizer, I don't know if that's going to run or not. Best Bout Boxing, you don't see that very often. Not sure if there's any mature games on here or not. I imagine there probably is with this many games. So, heads up on that. Wow, this just never stops. Okay, that was Elephants. Burger Time. Burning Rival. Yeah, there you go. So, Cabaret. Wow. Carnival. Carn-Evil. And Carnival. Alright, so I'm just going to go through these really quick. There is a lot. Wow. Jeez. Oh, there's a bunch of quiz games. A bunch of space games. A bunch of super games. A bunch of the games. All the verse games are in there as well. A lot of Z games. Oh, yep. See, there you go. All the X-Men's. So this looks like a big dump. Big arcade dump on here. But if you saw my previous fighter, RecalBox fighter, the RecalBox is very impressive as far as like the optimization. I was very impressed by it. War Gods. We're going to test some games in a little bit here. So then we have our Final Burn Alpha Libretto games. Nintendo 1081. So this is going to have some unreleased, some hacks, some prototypes, like Airball. So, huge Nintendo collection. Family Computer Disk System 78, quite a big collection there. And then we're back at Super Nintendo. So let's get this party started with some Nintendo 64. Again, we're running stock clock here to get started. Give that a whirl. Alright, so controls are working, which is nice. Oh, did it already. Let's go over some sick jumps. Okay, not doing so well here. It's running really good. That was running really good. Again, this is stock clock. We didn't even go up to the 1.3, and going up to 1.3 is going to be very easy to do. Let's maybe find a little laggier game. Wave Race. Okay, Wave Race I think is a game that a lot of people like. It's definitely laggy on RetroPie. So you can already tell it's laggy in the menus.
Select your watercraft, please. Select your...
I mean, this is super playable. As far as the lagginess is concerned, it's slightly better than RetroPie. It's still in a similar arena. It looks really good, though. I don't know if it's the level I'm on or what, but it's actually running really good. Let's see. Are we almost done here? Can we just pass this? Yeah. Oh, we gotta keep going. Alright, lap 2. Yeah, fist pump. Okay, that ran pretty good.
And in the floodlights, a wild battle is taking place. Lap 1. Lap 1. Number 7 is in the lead.
Okay. Here we go. How long till the power bars load up? And there it is. Really nice stuff, as you saw. There's definitely some games in the MAME arcade like Tekken, Soul Calibur, any kind of 3D game is really going to struggle on this image, even with an overclock. The overclock will help slightly, but like Soul Calibur is still unplayable. I tried it all the way up to 13.5, which is the turbo overclock, and still no results. But there was some games that don't run on RetroPie that do run on this image. I think what we're running into is limitations on the Raspberry Pi itself. Other than that, I mean, you saw it. Everything from Atari, Odyssey, CPC, Commodore 64, these old school systems, all the way up to Nintendo 64, a massive collection there. Just this morning, there was a debate on Facebook about, hey, does N64 even run on the Raspberry Pi 3? And I always tell people that, yeah, it does. There's actually quite a few titles that run really well, like 1080 Snowboarding, Mario Kart, Super Mario 64, Mario Party. Even Super Smash Brothers is playable. And then if you do a slight overclock 1.3, it works great. So that aside, this image as a whole is great. It's not giving you too much stuff that you can't play. As I mentioned, it's just those arcade games with a really high graphical output, and then some select Nintendo 64 titles. We saw some games that you don't see on other images, some prototypes, some modified games, but nothing too like fluff, that I call it, where it's like games you'd never play and it just looks cool in the menu. The majority of these games are like a solid collection, and as you saw, it's a beautiful little image, nothing too crazy, fairly simple emulation station, but it has those background images, and it's really true to retro gaming and Nintendo, Sega, catered. I think it's going to appeal to the majority of people out there. A compact 32GB image running a recent version of RecalBox, really user-friendly. I think if you were to give this to someone who's never used a Raspberry Pi before, that it's really going to make the learning curve really easy. So that's why I'm saying this is by far my favorite RecalBox image as of now. You've heard it here first. Really nice stuff. This is just what I think, though. Let me know if I missed something or you have any comments, questions, concerns. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.